What is the difference between ethics and morality? Bruce Weinstein, in his book Ethical Intelligence, writes, "The word morality comes from moralis, a Latin word that Cicero coined as a translation of the Greek word ethikos, which is the origin of the term ethics. Thus morality is to ethics what chapeau is to hat or caliente is to hot. It's true that many, perhaps most people, make a distinction between morality and ethics. But the problem is that no two people seem to agree about what that distinction is. Test this claim by asking 5 people you know, do you believe there is a difference between ethics and morality? If so, what is that difference? You'll get responses like these. Ethics has to do with social standards, morality is about personal beliefs. Ethics comes from secular institutions, whereas morality is a religious phenomenon. Ethical judgments are absolute and objective, moral judgments are relative and subjective. Not only do folks differ about what the distinction between the concepts is, they also differ about how to define each one. Even those who believe there is no difference between ethics and morality may differ over how to define them. If the first part of creating an actionable ethics is defining it, then the second part is thinking about it systematically. Toward that end, it might be beneficial to turn to systems theory. Heinz von Forster, in his essay on ethics and second-order cybernetics, talked about how cybernetics is the study of systems. First-order cybernetics consists of looking at a system from outside of it, whereas second-order cybernetics consists of the system plus the individual within it. For instance, in studying nature, man is inside the system he is studying. Von Forster makes an interesting distinction between someone issuing commandments from outside of a system versus someone internalizing injunctions due to existing within a system. He writes, "In the case of the first example, as a result of my independence, I can tell others how to think and act. Thou shalt not. This is the origin of moral codes. In the case of the second example, because of my interdependence, I can only tell myself how to think and act. I shall not. This is the origin of ethics." So using this as a baseline, when people try to control others, this is what von Forster would designate as moralizing. When people try to exercise self-control, this is ethics. Ethics is personal development. Epictetus talked about how the goal of a philosopher is self-control. He cannot control the world, but he can control his reaction to it. If he achieves this, nothing can enslave him. "I must die," says Epictetus. "But must I die groaning too? Be fettered? Must I be lamenting too? Exiled? And what hinders me then, but that I may go smiling and cheerful and serene? Betray a secret? I will not betray it, for this is in my own power. Then I will fetter you. What do you say, man? Fetter me? You will fetter my leg, but not Zeus himself can get the better of my free will. I will throw you into prison. I will behead that paltry body of yours. Did I ever tell you that I alone had a head not liable to be cut off? These things ought philosophers to study. These ought they to daily write, and in these to exercise themselves." Gandhi echoes this when he says, as human beings, our greatness lies not so much in being able to remake the world, that is the myth of the atomic age, as in being able to remake ourselves. Sadly, many people do not understand the difference between moralism and ethics. Moralism is trying to change others, as if you're outside the system, whereas ethics is trying to obtain self-mastery, as if you're inside the system and interdependent with it. A university provides an example of this confusion when they claim to be posting so-called ethics videos, but instead promoted moralism. One of their videos, for instance, encourages students not to better themselves so much as to inform on others. Watch here.
I think that what keeps me from speaking up when someone's cheating is selfishness, because I want to save face and it doesn't affect me.
No one wants to be that person.
Even if you are the person who stands up and corrects someone, if you don't see it fixing anything, you get discouraged.
These young people assume that it's their responsibility to correct others. What they're engaging in is moralism. It is social control. Ethics is self-control. If you're young and idealistic and you want to change the world, the best way to do that is to be the change you want to see. How we conduct ourselves can have a pronounced effect on how others behave. It sets up a cultural field which produces a profound effect on objects within that field. As a personal example, I remember maximizing my time at a job. Whenever I had downtime, I would pull out a technical manual and try to read it in little snatches. Though I never preached about this attempt at knowledge acquisition, I was shocked when others saw me out of the corner of their eyes and it inspired them to follow suit. Once watching coworkers goof off or spend time unproductively during lulls, someone brought to my attention the fact that they were now reading worthwhile material in their downtime. Without knowing it, I had set up a cultural field around me. I became what Cass Sunstein calls a norm entrepreneur in his book, How Change Happens. At any rate, you get the point. Ethics is personal development. It's not social control. The fact that good behavior can influence others in positive ways is a great side effect, but it is not the primary purpose of ethics. Ethics is you taking control of your life, being free to make decisions without having your will influenced by vices or other outside influences. As Pythagoras said, no man is truly free who is ruled by and slave to his passions. If you like this content, you'll love The New American Magazine. It comes out twice a month. Consider getting a subscription. Go to thenewamerican.com and check it out.